Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to talk about a very interesting coin that many collectors and everyday people may already have in their pockets or coin jars. The coin we are discussing today is the 2001 Canada 5-cent coin, a coin made with a copper-nickel composition and often found in very fine condition in the collector market. In this video, we will explore the history of this coin, its background and composition, the demand among collectors, the current market value in dollars, and some helpful tips for coin collectors who may want to add this coin to their collection. The 2001 Canadian 5-cent coin, commonly known as the nickel, is part of Canada's long and fascinating coinage tradition. The 5-cent denomination has been produced in Canada since the 19th century, and over the years, its design and metal composition have changed several times. By the time the year 2001 arrived, the coin was already a well-recognized part of Canadian daily life. The 2001 issue was produced by the Royal Canadian Mint, an institution famous worldwide for its high-quality coin production and innovative minting techniques. Like many Canadian 5-cent coins, the 2001 version features the classic design that has become a symbol of Canadian wildlife. On the reverse side of the coin, you will see the iconic beaver resting on a rock in the water. This design was originally created by Canadian artist George Edward Kruger Gray, and it has been used on the Canadian nickel for decades. The beaver is an important national symbol of Canada and represents hard work, determination, and the country's connection to nature. On the obverse side of the coin appears the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Dora de Pederi Hunt, which was the standard portrait used on Canadian coins during that period. When collectors talk about a coin being in very fine condition, they are referring to a grading level that indicates moderate circulation, but still good detail. In very fine condition, the coin's main design elements are clearly visible. On the beaver design, you can usually still see much of the fur texture and the outlines of the waterlines around the rock. The lettering and date remain clear and readable, although there may be some smoothness from years of use. For many collectors, very fine condition coins are attractive because they show history while still preserving most of their original details. The background and composition of the 2001 Canadian nickel is also an interesting topic. Earlier Canadian 5-cent coins were made of pure nickel for many years. However, as metal prices and production technologies changed, the composition evolved. Many of the coins produced around this time used copper-nickel alloys, a mixture that provides durability, corrosion resistance, and a distinctive silvery appearance. Copper-nickel coins are strong enough to survive decades of circulation without severe damage, which is why many examples of the 2001 nickel can still be found in decent collectible condition today. From a collector's perspective, demand for the 2001 Canadian 5-cent coin is generally steady but modest. Because millions of these coins were produced, they are not considered extremely rare. However, collectors still appreciate them for several reasons. First, they represent a modern era of Canadian coinage. Second, collectors who build complete date sets of Canadian nickels need the 2001 Canadian 5 coin to complete their collections. Third, coins in higher grades such as extremely fine or uncirculated condition are always sought after by enthusiasts who value well-preserved pieces. Another factor that increases collector interest is the emotional and historical connection many people have with everyday coins. Coins like the 2001 Canadian nickel remind collectors of a particular era, and sometimes they become more desirable as time passes and fewer high-quality examples remain in circulation. Over the years, coin collectors around the world have shown growing interest in Canadian coins because of their artistic designs and reliable minting quality. Now let's talk about the current market value of the 2001 Canada 5-cent coin in very fine condition. In general, circulation grades such as very fine, the value of this coin is usually quite close to its face value. On the collector market, a typical 2001 Canadian nickel in very fine condition may sell for around $120,000 to $140,000 US, depending on the buyer and the overall condition of the coin. While this might not seem like a large amount, it reflects the fact that the coin is common and widely available. However, the story becomes more interesting when the coin is found in much higher grades. Coins in uncirculated condition, or coins that come directly from mint rolls can sometimes sell for $148,000 to $175,000 or even slightly more, especially if they are well preserved with strong luster. Occasionally, professionally graded coins from reputable grading companies may bring even higher prices in the collector market. For collectors who enjoy searching through coins, the 2001 nickel can still be an exciting find. Sometimes you may discover a coin with exceptional quality, unusual toning, or a minor mint variation that makes it more appealing to collectors. While most coins from this year remain common, the thrill of discovery is always part of the fun in coin. If you are a coin collector or someone interested in starting a collection, there are several positive tips that can help you when dealing with coins like the 2001 Canadian nickel. One of the most important things is to carefully examine the condition of the coin. Look at the details of the beaver design, the lettering, and the portrait on the front. The sharper the details and the fewer the scratches, the more collectible the coin may be. Another helpful approach is to store your coins properly. Using coin holders, albums, or protective flips can help prevent damage from moisture, dust, or fingerprints. Keeping coins in a safe and dry environment ensures they remain in good condition for many years. It is also a good idea to learn more about coin grading and market trends. By understanding how collectors evaluate coins and how prices change over time, you can make better decisions about buying, selling, or holding your coins. Many collectors enjoy building complete sets of coins by year, and the 2001 nickel can be an important part of a full Canadian 5-cent collection. In conclusion, the 2001 Canada 5-cent coin is a small but meaningful piece of modern numismatic history. With its classic beaver design, durable copper-nickel composition, and connection to Canada's long tradition of coinage, it continues to attract interest from collectors and everyday people alike. While its value in very fine condition is usually close to face value, the coin still holds charm and historical significance. For collectors, every coin tells a story. And even a common coin like the 2001 Canadian nickel can become a treasured part of a growing collection. Next up, today we are going to explore a very interesting coin from Canada that has attracted the attention of collectors around the world. This is the Canada 5 cents coin issued in 2002, which celebrates the 50th anniversary of the succession of Queen Elizabeth II to the throne. Even though it is a small denomination coin, it carries an important historical meaning and has become a special piece for many collectors. Let's start with the history of this coin. In the year 2002, Canada issued several commemorative circulating coins to celebrate a very important royal milestone. That year marked the Golden Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II, meaning it had been 50 years since she became queen in 1952. Canada, being a Commonwealth country, honored this occasion by producing special versions of its circulating coins, including the 5-cent coin. The Royal Canadian Mint released these coins so that ordinary people could use them in daily transactions, while also celebrating the long reign of Queen Elizabeth II. Because of this, millions of Canadians handled these coins, but over time, collectors began saving them as historical souvenirs of the Golden Jubilee. Now let's talk about the appearance and background design of this coin. The 2002 Canadian 5-cent coin continues the classic design that has been used for decades. On the reverse side, you will see the famous beaver, one of Canada's most iconic national animals. The beaver is sitting on a rock surrounded by water, symbolizing the country's rich wildlife and natural environment. Above the beaver appears the word Canada, and below it you will find the denomination 5 cents, along with the year 2002. The obverse side of the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The portrait used on this coin was designed by Dora de Pederi Hunt, which had been used on Canadian coins since 1990. Around the portrait, you will see the inscription Elizabeth II and DG. Regina, meaning Elizabeth II, Queen by the grace of God. For collectors, this portrait connects the coin directly to the historical moment of the Golden Jubilee celebration. Now let's discuss the composition of this coin. The 2002 Canadian 5-cent coin is made of nickel, which gives it a strong silver-colored appearance and durability. Earlier Canadian nickels were sometimes made with different metal combinations, but this coin is primarily pure nickel, It has a diameter of about millimeters and weighs approximately grams. The edge of the coin is smooth, which is typical for Canadian nickels. Nickel coins like this are known for their durability, which means many examples survive even after years of circulation. However, condition still plays a major role in determining the coin's value. A coin graded very fine has clearly been in circulation but still retains a good amount of detail. The main design elements, such as the beaver's body and the queen's portrait, remain visible and recognizable. Some moderate wear appears on the highest parts of the design, but the coin still looks attractive and complete. Letters and numbers are sharp enough to read easily, and the overall design is still strong. Collectors often consider very fine coins to be a good balance between affordability and collectability. They may not be perfect like uncirculated coins, but they still preserve most of the original design. Now let's look at collector demand for this coin. The 2002 Golden Jubilee coins attract interest mainly because of their historical connection to Queen Elizabeth II. Collectors who focus on Canadian coins, Commonwealth coins, or real commemorative issues often want to include this coin in their collections. However, because the coin was produced in large numbers and circulated widely, it is not considered extremely rare. That means the value depends mostly on condition and collector interest rather than scarcity. Still, many collectors enjoy owning it as part of a historical set marking the Queen's 50 years on the throne. In very fine condition, the 2002 Canada 5-cent Golden Jubilee coin typically sells for around $1.20, $0 to $1.40, $0 depending on the exact condition and the buyer's interest. In many cases, it is still close to its but special collectors or themed sets can sometimes bring a slightly higher price. If the coin is in extremely fine or uncirculated condition, the value may rise a little more, sometimes reaching $2.30, $0 to $2.45, $0 among collectors who want a clean example. Coins in official mint sets or proof sets can also be worth more because of their higher quality finish. Now let's talk about some helpful advice for collectors who want to keep coins like this. One important tip is to always store your coins properly. Using coin holders, flips, or albums can protect the coin from scratches, moisture, and environmental damage. Even a common coin can lose value if it becomes damaged or corroded. Another good idea is to avoid cleaning your coins. Many beginners think cleaning will make a coin more valuable, but in reality, it can reduce the value significantly. Collectors prefer coins with their original surfaces, even if they show natural wear. It is also helpful to learn about mint marks, varieties, and special editions. Some coins that look common may have small differences that make them more collectible. Studying coin catalogs or collector guides can help you discover these details. As we come to the conclusion of today's video, the 2002 Canada 5-cent coin, celebrating the 50th anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II's succession, is a wonderful example of how even everyday coins can carry deep historical meaning. While its market value in very fine condition may be modest, its connection to an important royal milestone makes it a meaningful piece for collectors and history enthusiasts. Coins like this remind us that collecting is not always about high prices or rare treasures. Sometimes the real value comes from the stories behind the coin, the history it represents, and the joy of building a collection piece by piece. Next up, today we are going to talk about a very interesting coin that many collectors and even everyday people may have in their pockets without realizing its potential value. The coin we will explore today is the 2011 Canadian 5-cent coin, often recognized by collectors for its iconic maple leaf design and the famous beaver image that represents Canadian heritage. We will discuss its history, its condition known as very fine, the background and composition of the coin, how collectors view it, its current market value in dollars, and some helpful tips for collectors who may want to keep or search for this coin. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the fascinating story behind the 2011 Canadian 5-cent coin. To begin with, the history of the Canadian 5-cent coin is quite remarkable. The 5-cent coin in Canada has existed for more than a century and is one of the most recognizable coins in Canadian currency. The 2011 version continues this long tradition that dates back to the early 1900s AS. On the reverse side of the coin, you will see the famous beaver design, which has become a national symbol of Canada. The beaver was chosen because of its historical importance in the fur trade, which played a major role in shaping Canada's economy and early development. On the obverse side of the 2011 Canada 5 coin, you will find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Canadian artist Susanna Blunt. This portrait has appeared on Canadian coins since 2003 and reflects a modern and dignified representation of the monarch. The maple leaf theme, often associated with Canadian coins, also represents the nation's identity and pride, making the coin instantly recognizable worldwide. Now let's talk about the condition known as very fine, which is an important factor when determining the value of a coin. In the coin collecting world, condition is everything. A coin graded as very fine means that the coin has been circulated but still retains many of its important details. The major features of the design are still clearly visible, although there may be some moderate wear on the highest points of the coin. For example, on the beaver design, you might notice slight smoothing on the fur details, but the overall shape and features remain clear and easy to identify. The lettering, date, and main design elements are still strong and readable. A 2011 5-cent coin in very fine condition is considered a respectable piece for many collectors, especially those building complete year collections of Canadian nickels. Another important topic to understand is the background and composition of the coin. Over the years, the materials used to produce Canadian 5-cent coins have changed. The 2011 5-cent coin is made primarily of steel with nickel plating. This change in composition was introduced to reduce production costs while maintaining durability and appearance. Earlier Canadian nickels were made from pure nickel, which is actually where the common name nickel comes from. However, the modern version uses steel at its core with layers of nickel plating, giving the coin its familiar silver-colored shine while also making it more economical to produce. The coin has a diameter of about and weighs approximately. Its round shape and smooth edges make it easy to recognize and handle. When it comes to collector demand, the 2011 Canadian 5-cent coin is generally considered a common coin, but that does not mean it is uninteresting or without value. Many collectors around the world enjoy collecting Canadian coins because of their beautiful designs and historical significance. Even though millions of these coins were produced, collectors still look for high-quality examples or coins that have remained in excellent condition over time. Some collectors focus on assembling full sets of Canadian nickels by year, while others collect coins based on condition grades such as very fine, extremely fine, or uncirculated. For beginner collectors, coins like the 2011 5-cent piece can be a great starting point because they are affordable and widely available. Now let's discuss the part that many people are most curious about, which is the current market value of this coin in dollars. In general, a 2011 Canadian 5-cent coin in circulated condition, including very fine condition, in the collector market today, such a coin might sell for around $145,000 to $170,000 US, depending on the exact condition and the interest of the buyer. However, coins that are in much better condition, such as uncirculated or mint-state examples, can sometimes reach higher prices among collectors who want perfectly preserved pieces for their collections. While the value may not be extremely high, it is still exciting to know that everyday coins can become part of a collectible hobby enjoyed by millions of people worldwide. For collectors, there are always helpful tips that can make the hobby more enjoyable and rewarding. One of the best things a collector can do is to carefully check their coins before spending them. Many valuable coins have been discovered in everyday change simply because someone took the time to look closely at the date and condition. It is also a good idea to store coins properly. Keeping coins in protective holders or albums helps preserve their condition and prevent scratches or environmental damage. Clean hands or gloves are recommended when handling coins, because oils from fingers can affect the surface over time. Another helpful tip is to learn about coin grading. Understanding how condition affects value will help collectors identify coins that might be worth keeping. Collectors should also stay curious and continue learning about the history of coins. Even coins with small monetary value can have fascinating stories behind them. The Canadian 5-cent coin, for example, represents decades of history, artistic design, and national symbolism. Building knowledge about coins can make the hobby even more enjoyable and can help collectors recognize special varieties or rare pieces if they appear. As we come to the conclusion of today's video, it's important to remember that every coin tells a story. The 2011 Canadian 5-cent coin may appear simple at first glance, but it carries with it a rich history, a meaningful national symbol, and a place in the long tradition of Canadian currency. In very fine condition, the coin remains a respectable collectible piece that can be part of many collections around the world. While its current market value may be modest, its educational and historical value is something that collectors truly appreciate. Coin collecting is not always about finding extremely rare coins worth thousands of dollars. Sometimes it is about the joy of discovery, the appreciation of history, and the excitement of building a collection piece by piece. The 2011 Canadian nickel is a great reminder that even everyday coins can spark curiosity and bring people into the fascinating world of numismatics.